from, but I only have Roland doing that. So if you can hear me and you can see my face, I would like you to leave a thumbs up. Farouk, thank you. Lavina, thank you. Roland, thank you. Abiodun, thank you. Okay, so is this, I want to confirm also if this is your first SharePoint. If this is your first SharePoint series, just give me a thumbs up. If this is your first time of joining a SharePoint, thumbs up. Okay. Thank you. So if you are familiar with SharePoint already, put in the love emoji. Like you have basic knowledge, maybe how to create. Okay. Okay, so once again, good evening, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to join the deep dive series today. This series started, I think, July. I started the first series on that, and the goal is to transform you from being a novice to a SharePoint master. And I can assure you that everyone who took out time to attend each of the sessions across the series, which will be handled by different SharePoint experts, would, at the end of it, definitely get something that will be valuable in terms of SharePoint knowledge. SharePoint is basically a content or document and content management system that is provided by Microsoft. Okay, and it's designed to manage lists, to manage sites, and to manage documents. So we're going to be looking at a very interesting and important concept today when it comes to SharePoint. So I'm going to share my screen. I think I should just share my entire screen. Where is that now? Okay, so let me know if you can see my screen. Just give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so the SharePoint online deep dive, same speaker, Yomi Aledare, Microsoft certified trainer, and I have over 5 years experience with Microsoft 365. And one of my strong area in the product is Microsoft SharePoint. Right from where we had the training back then, and I've been building on that since then. Okay, so this course is focused on sharing and file collaboration in SharePoint Online. Now, I don't know if I've said it before, but I want to emphasize again that this section is, I can say, is one of the most important feature when it comes to SharePoint. Okay, because it's not something that you can watch on YouTube or try your hands on. It's not, it doesn't work that way. You need to be shown how it all connects together, which was how I also learned it as well. So it's something that is very, very powerful when it comes to SharePoint. And I'll see how we can manage our time and run with speed as well. So we are looking at the sharing and file collaboration in SharePoint. So we have uh, what's it called now, subsections today: sharing and then file collaboration. So we have the first series, um, which is going to be on the theoretical foundation, which is this slide. So I'm going to discuss a few things on the slide, highlighting SharePoint and all of that. Okay. And then that will be for 30 minutes. And then we'll go straight to the labs. The labs, 1 hour. So we want to see how we can really achieve something strong. So we want to use 1 hour to do the lab. Okay. And then Q&A will be for 30 minutes or less, because we didn't start. I need to be checking time. We didn't start exactly 4. So we the that's we that time lap or gap will be bored by the Q&A. So we're still going to use our 30 minutes for the theory and the lab. So I'm looking at my time. That's okay. So next 30 minutes we can stop with this. So what you will learn, we look at the sharing feature in SharePoint, what are security objects, and how to add and remove users in sites, and look at the permissions levels as well, and security groups. So we'll start the first part, which is collaboration in SharePoint. Okay, collaboration. Some of us will have been familiar with the word collab or collabo. Okay, which means that somebody is interacting with another person or doing something with another person. We say it's collabo. So when we talk about collaboration in SharePoint, we are simply referring to what happens where 2 or more users are doing something in SharePoint. So we're going to look at that. We're going to start with that and start to lay what the theoretical foundation is. And one of the number one feature in SharePoint collaboration is what is called co-authoring. Okay, what is co-authoring? Authoring itself simply means that somebody is creating a content. So when we now say co-authoring now, it means that it's not just one person that is in charge of this content creation. So with Microsoft 365 and OneDrive or SharePoint, you can have multiple users work on a Word document, maybe a project. Somebody is working on the technical detail. Somebody is working on the financial estimate. You can also have somebody working in sheet 1 in Excel, another person in sheet 2 in Excel, and the same thing applies to PowerPoint. So when you have that um, that thing happening where multiple users are working on a document at the same time, okay, we refer to it as simply quote on it. Okay, that means that's that's just the bare meaning of that. Okay, it simply means that 2 or more users are working on one document. Okay, so once you have that scenario where you have multiple users working in a document, you say you have co-authoring. So that's just what it means. Okay, and it's so designed in such a way that you can see that you see like an what's it called, like an icon showing that somebody else is here, somebody is here, and all of that. And You'll be seeing what they are doing, the way they also be seeing what you are doing. Okay, and it records all of that. Okay, then we also have what is called check-in, check-out. Okay, check-in, check-out is co-authoring as well, or is collaboration. Let me see. No, it's not co-authoring, it's collaboration. However, it does not allow two users to work on a document at the same time. In co-authoring, I can work on a file and you can also work on a file at the same time. But with check-in, check-out, one person works on the file. Okay, the person that checked out the file work on it. At that point, no other person can work on the file. Or rather, if you work on the file, you can't save or make any changes. You can only read what is done. Okay, so that is check in, check out. Okay, so when you want, this person says that when you want to do co-authoring, then you can do checkout. They are opposite features. Okay, so take note of that when it comes to check in, check out in SharePoint. Okay, with co-authoring, they are both collaboration, but for co-authoring, two or more users can work on the same document at the same time. In check-in, check-out, allows one person to work on the document. Okay, it all has their applications. Okay, for instance, someone needs to prepare a particular stage of a proposal before it is sent to the next person. So while the person is working on the document, the person can start to check it out, right? And when they are done, they check it in, and other users can pick it up and continue from there. Then we also have another thing that is called content approver. Okay, approver is designed in such a way that still on collaboration. Okay, it's a concept that you want to make sure that maybe you have a news bulletin team. There's somebody that approves everything. So though everybody can create their content on the news bulletin, someone has to approve, and whatever they approve is what stands. Okay, if they disapprove, it doesn't stand. Okay, so content approval, for instance, somebody says Buhari is alive again, and the what is it called now? The head of the editing team will say, what is this one saying? And goes through the story and see that no, this is misleading, and can decide to disapprove such content. Okay, so that's different. Co-authoring, everybody is working on it, and it's getting applied on the document immediately. Check in, check out, one at a time. Okay, and then once the first person or when the person that check it out is done, they can check it in, somebody else can take it up, check it out, and all of that. Okay, and then you have the option to set up content approval. Okay, so you have that option as well, basically for special documents. Okay, so if a document if you set up content approval, someone that is not supposed to approve will not see whatever has been done. Okay, until it has been approved. Okay, until it has been approved. Once it is approved, then they will be able to see it. Okay, we're going to demonstrate co-authoring and check-in, check-out, and content approval as well. Okay, then we have I think we're helping with time. Then let's look at permissions in SharePoint. Okay, permission in SharePoint. Basically, when we talk about permission, okay, we are saying that when you share a file, what do you want the user to do? You know, the theme or topic for this session is sharing and file collaboration. Okay, so that sharing in itself is permissions, okay, in SharePoint. So when you share a file with someone, what access do you want them to have? Do you want them to be able to edit or just to read, or they can even delete, or you want them to read but not able to print? So all of that falls under permissions. Okay. You could also set up where they can even delete an entire file, or you don't want them to be able to do that. So all of that is in SharePoint permissions. Then generally you have the public versus private. Okay. A public group is a group in SharePoint, usually connected with a Microsoft 365 group that allows everyone in the organization to join. Okay, because it's public, they can just join the team or the group, and it's also visible. So that is a public group. Okay, for of course the name public, just like a public toilet. Although in Lagos you have to pay before you can use it, but the public toilet means that you can just go in, dash out, and you're done. Okay. Then private teams. In private teams, from the name private, okay, it's the duty of the owner to add users to the group. Okay, it's the duty of the owner to add users to the group. And you can't join, okay? You can't join the group. You have to be invited in. You can't have access, of course, because it's private. You can't see it, you can't access it, you can't. Okay, so that's private. So if you are designing a system and the question is, this project is evolving, as new employees join the organization, we want them to be able to be part of the project. That means we should be looking at a public group. If we are doing a designing a group for maybe HR, okay, we want that group to be hidden. Okay, so that should be a private team. Okay, SharePoint is so granular in its permission in the sense that even if you're a global admin, you cannot access a site that you have not been given a site admin right to. So even if you're a global admin, you click on the site, tell you don't have permission. You wonder, am I not a global admin? Of course, you're a global admin, but that doesn't apply to that site. Okay. Then that's what is also called everyone except external users. Okay, which we are going to look at. It's simply a concept where you don't know, you probably don't have a group that contains all your users, but you want all your users to be able to access a particular site. So you can just add the everyone except external user to that site. So it means that the public group, for instance, has the everyone except external users group, okay, added to it. And that's why all users can see that side. I've spent much time on that slide. Then we have access request. Access request is simply a concept that allows you to request access to a content that you do not have permission to. Okay, so probably you got it somewhere or whatever it is you don't want the link. You think you should have access to it. You can just request access. Tell you that, hey admin or hey site owner, I should have permission to this content. Then you request access. So you have that feature in SharePoint. The goal is just to, from the name, request access. Okay. Then permission levels and SharePoint security group. So we have what is called as permission levels. We have what is called SharePoint security group. Okay. How should I break it down? Okay, let's look at what we have. It says SharePoint groups enable you to control access for sets of users instead of individual users. SharePoint groups are usually composed of many individual users. So, for instance, you have a site, and that site you have about 10 specific users. You want them to have a specific permission. Now, this permission is unique. Okay. Then you have another user that you want them to have a general permission. Okay. So when your permission is looking like it's customized or it's not general, then you want to be looking at permission levels. But if permission is general, you want to look at a SharePoint group. Okay. Now, each SharePoint group has a permission level. Okay, so it means that a SharePoint group in itself, okay, takes on a permission level. Okay, from the table we have on the right, which you want to only focus on the bolding row, where it has the site name and members. For instance, deep dive members, deep dive owners, deep dive visitors. So they will have specific permission levels. All members of a SharePoint site automatically are given the edit permission level. Site owners have full control. Full control means that you can create web parts and sites and all of that. Then you have site visitors. That means they can read. So it means that even if I have a site, I can choose to give a user or assign a user rather to the site visitor group, SharePoint group. What that means is that I'm giving the user a permission level to be able to read. Okay. Alternatively, I can directly give the user read permission. Okay, by assigning the user to the read permission level. So in SharePoint group, a user is added to in SharePoint security group. A user is added to the group, okay? But in permission level, the permission level is assigned to the user. So it's not like a user is added to the read permission level. No, the permission level is assigned to the user. So that is kind of how they distinguish themselves. Then we have a concept that is called SharePoint inheritance. Okay. Remember, some of us we have features of what is it called? Facial features of our parents. Okay, and we tend to refer to that as things that were inherited. Okay, so when we talk about inheritance, we are simply saying that so when we talk about inheritance, we're simply saying that a parent P, okay, is passing across their what's it called, properties or features to their children, right? So the same thing in SharePoint inheritance. So you have a site, in SharePoint structure, you have site collection, you have the sites, then you have the what's it called? The sub sites, you have the document library, okay, and then you have the list. You have the list. I don't know, my mouse is not writing well today. Okay, you have the list, okay. So in SharePoint inheritance, you can say this site has a user called K. This user called K has read permission. Okay, that means they can read the entire this site. Now, this read permission will flow down, okay, to all the elements within that site or content. So it means that this sites, or rather these contents, have inherited the permission from the top sites. Okay. Now, with that, there's a concept where you can do what is known as break inheritance. Okay. Break inheritance means that this permission for K, let it remain in this level. Okay. Or let me not break it here. Let me break it here. This permission that K has, let it flow down, let it go to list, let it go to document library, but coming to this sub-site, I do not want it. So what happened? I break the inheritance so that this now has its own unique permission defined within this. Okay, so if I want K to have permission to this site, I have to give him directly again. Why? Because it's no longer flowing. Okay, so that is the concept of SharePoint. Beautiful. So I think we are done. That's the concept of, yeah, that we're within time. That's the concept of share. I think we have used yeah, 10. Yeah, that's 30 minutes on the dot. We have used 30 minutes already. So that is the concept of SharePoint inheritance. Okay, and one thing that is like a limitation is that when a list or library contains more than 100,000 items, you cannot break permissions inheritance on the list itself, nor can you inherit permission on the list itself. So when a folder contains more than 100,000 items, you can't say you want to break the permission it has so that the subfolders in it will have a different permission. It's not going to allow that to happen because of this limitation. So this is a limitation in SharePoint. So if you are trying to break in and it's not working, it simply means that the permission is not correct. Okay, or sorry, not permission is not correct. It means that the items in the library or the site, okay, is equal to or above this number. Okay. Okay, so I don't know. Question. Anybody needs clarity? Let's take care of that in 5 minutes. Want to go to the lab? Let's drop a chart. Okay. Since there are no questions, if you are with me, drop a chat, or no, if you are, just give me a thumbs up. Let me know those who are still here. Thank you, Ife, Oluwa. Thank you, Ngozi. Thank you, Lovina. Thank you, Roland. I hope I'm making sense so far. Okay, thank you, Opayemi. You're giving me love. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so we want to go straight to our lab. So we'll have 1 hour to do that. So by 5:40, we are going to 5:41 end that. Okay, so let's get started. So I will share my screen again. So I have, we're going to be, testing these things and be seeing how it works. So I have some users here that I've created, and we're going to be using them to test this. Okay. Okay, so we have so we have the SharePoint admins, and we want to look at okay, so let's come back to this. Let's go straight to the let's look at the collaboration. So in the collaboration, I talked about co-authoring, right? Where 2 or more persons can work on a particular file. Okay, so I'm going to share my entire screen and demonstrate that. Okay, so let's have this user so I'll just create a document here, and then I'm going to share it with okay, so I have it's a document. So I want to demonstrate co-authoring. That means I want to have 2 or more users working on this at the same time. Okay, so I'm going to share this with a user. So let me click on share. What is that user? I think it's Grandy. Where is the user I created again? Okay. Where are you? What is this user? Who is this? Yeah, Gandhi. That's right. Okay. Grady. Okay. So now that we're looking at this, so when you just add a user, okay, when you add a user here, okay, it automatically gives it a permission. So you want to check what that is by going to the settings, okay, and you can see it says people in Airsoft dev and all of that, and then permission is I can view. Is that what I want? No. I want the user to be able to edit. I will explain why this is that, but that we're not even doing sharing now, we're just doing collaboration, but I just need to point that out. So edit, and then I'll click on apply. And then I'll just copy the link. Okay, I've already given this guy access. I'll just copy the link. and just go to the user. Where's the user? I think this is the user. Okay, so I'll just paste that. Okay, so this is the same document, business proposal. Okay, and we have a user called Grandi Archie, and you can see here it's showing that Solomon Grandi is on this page. Okay, and is currently here. So this user can, go and say, leave this section for me. Okay. If I go to Grandi, I should see that, okay. Okay. So that's basically co-authoring, okay? 2 or more users working on a document. Okay. Now the second one is check-in, check-out. Check-in, check-out. I'm going to use this same document so I don't have to share again. This user we already have 2 users that have access to this document. So I'll just use this same document to demonstrate that. We can see the behavior that because we are doing co-authoring, both of them are able to make changes. Now let's see what happens when we check out this document. So I'll click on, so this is Solomon. Okay, so click on this 3 dots and then scroll down and then go to more, and you see check out. Okay. I think you guys still have it's still on the page. Let's close it. So let's go back. Okay. So checked out 1 item. Okay. So let's Solomon start doing his magic now. This is a summary. Randy has said leave this session for me, but here we have Solomon already typing in that section. Okay. Now let's access the document on Grandy accounts. Same documents. Okay. Now we have section 1, leave session for me. This is summary of the project. Okay. And Gandhi does not want this, so he wants to add his own information. Let's say growth is beautiful. Okay. What permission did I give it? The permission is broken. Oh. I think I know what that. So before we do this, we need to so there's something I need to do. I skip that. So let me just quickly do that. So that will enforce the change. So let me do that on this document library. So I'll go to settings, then I'll go to library settings, more library settings. Okay, then I'll go to versioning settings. Okay, so we're going to still come back to this require content approval for submitted items as the content approver. But this is what we want to do. Require document to be checked out before they can be edited. So let's click on yes. Then okay. So let's go back to the documents. And let's click on business proposal. Okay. So you observe that, where is that? Okay. So this is Grady. I've closed it. Okay, so this is Solomon and this is Grady. We have configured the document library to require checkout. Okay, before, so it's a way of enforcing checkout. So we have made it a requirement, okay, for this document library. So what that means now is that if you open the file, you can edit it because we say require checkout before editing. Okay, and once you do that, other users that open the document will not be able to this. So for instance, this is Grady. It's having just view. Okay, it can't do anything, just to see. Okay, so if I go back now to the Grady does not have full access to the site. Okay, let's find out. I know it doesn't have full access to the site. Oh, sorry. Is it team? No, it's site I use. It's site I use. Oh, for what's happening? Sites. Right. Okay. Okay. So you can see Grid does not have permission to the sites or the sites, okay, but he can request access. But Solomon has permission to the site. So now I want to edit, so I'll just let's do the checkout again. Okay, so that's been checked out now, so I can open it and close this. So now I'm able to edit the documents. Okay, then for Grady accessing the same document, he can see that the document is still as it is. Okay, the more like the old version of the document. This is great. This is going to be a great news. He's not seeing. It's going to be a great news here. Okay, because the document has been checked out. Okay, so whatever changes that are made is going to be held okay, until the document has been checked in. Okay, so now we can go back, just close it, and then just check it in, and we can refresh. Okay, we can discard the checkout, which means whatever changes we have made, we don't want it. Just put in the comment, don't check it in. Okay, and let's refresh this. Should see the new change. Okay, so you can see this is going to be great news. Okay, so that's check in, check out. That's check in, check out. Okay. Any questions so far? Okay. No question. Now let's move on. Our time is just not friendly at all. So let's look at the SharePoint sharing. Okay. So before you discuss about sharing, you need to look at the sharing configuration. So on the SharePoint admin portal, you go to policies and then you go to sharing. This is what controls sharing in SharePoint or OneDrive. Okay. From what you are seeing here, it means that for files or documents or list, whatever it is that is in your SharePoint, okay, anyone can access it. Okay. But if the file is in OneDrive, then only people in your organization. What you are saying is that you have restricted your users from sharing files in their personal OneDrive to external users. So if they want to share a file with external users, the file has to come from a SharePoint site. That's what this has done. Okay. If you take this down, it means that nobody can share externally. If I save this and I go back to my site, if you want me with permission that is immediate, you don't need to wait for 24 hours. Okay, so no. Okay, let's give this Gmail. I hope this thing has not picked. No, it has picked an internal user. Let me just use a random email ID. Okay, so it says you can only share within your organization. Okay, where is that coming from? It's coming from what has been configured here. Remember, we're in SharePoint, okay, and we just dragged it down. So this is what users in OneDrive will experience. Okay, this is what they will experience. Okay, they won't be able to share their files or libraries from here. Okay. Then there's something I did not mention, so which I need to mention. SharePoint is heavy on permissions, and so because of that, it does not allow anyone. So if you look at this page, you can see anyone, right? But this anyone only applies to files and folders, not sites. Okay. So it means that this site it's not possible for me to just paste it on the group and you will access it. However, I can share a link to a specific document or file, and you'll be able to access it. Okay, so it does not, SharePoint does not allow you to do that, where anyone can access a site or a document library or list. Okay, however, you can access you can set up permission sharing for files and folders. Okay, then new and existing guests simply means that people who are guest users and people who already exist as guests. Okay. Okay. Now, still on sharing. Okay. Because we're going to this time 40 minutes left. So this time, so external sharing, it says limit external sharing by domain. So now I want people to share. Okay, just follow me. But I want to limit it to only allow only specific domains. Okay, so let me go over it again. Check this, limit external sharing by domain, add domains. So I can set up a block list. That means specific domains, or allow list, depends on how I want it. Okay. Remember, it says this limitation will not apply when users share files and folders using, of course, using any one link. Okay. So, but I don't have any one link configured for, do I? Yes, I do. So, but if I limit this to this, it means that even though the guest is new and the domain is not, okay, the domain is not in my allow, okay, my allow list, then to my allow, the only allow list I have is, let's say, Microsoft. That's the only allow list that I have. Okay, so let's save it. So now we have changed from anyone to new and existing guest. Okay, but we have also set up an allowed list. Okay, so let's test that. Please, if I'm too fast, just let me know. But I feel I'm very slow because we have a lot, and I'm trying to take it a step at a time. Okay, so let's share, and yeah, we can use this. Okay, so that it's going to be searching and picking the wrong. Okay, let's use this. Share outside of organization. Your org does not allow sharing with people who use this email domain. Okay. Let's try the same user. This name does not exist too, but I just using it. Now it just says there's no red. Okay. What is controlling this is what is happening here. Okay. Are we good? Are we good? If you're enjoying the class, drop your favorite emoji. Thank you, Emmanuel. Thank you, Lovina. Thank you, Ngozi. Okay, so let's move on. So let's remove that. Then you also have options to say, okay, I want to allow people to share, okay, with external users, but not everybody. So you have allow only users in specific security group to share externally. Okay, so I want to do that. And so let me look for a group. So I just look for a security group. and just add, because I don't even think Solomon is in that group. Okay, since Solomon is not in that group, let me just use this group, HPPC. Let me look at the members first. Okay, so let's do that, HPPC. So let's HP. Okay, HPPC can do what? Can share with. So you can also set, okay, anyone. I will not be able to demonstrate this. I think I need to add a user to this site. So let's add, but Granny does not even have permission to the site. Okay, but he has access to the file. Okay, so let's do that. So let me add Grandy to that group as a member. Grady. Oh, sorry, add members first. Okay, so that has been added. So we have Grady as a member. So let's use anyone. Whoever is a member can use anyone, and our site is set to anyone. Okay, so we're in order. So let's save. So remember, Solomon is a global admin, right? And he's also a site. He's also a site admin of this site. He's the one that created this. The one that gave permission to Grady. Okay, he's the one that shared this file with Grady. But Grady is in that group. So let's see what the experience or the behavior is when Solomon is trying to share. What did we configure again? Allow only. Okay, so we need to put in an external email. Says you can only share within your organization. Solomon is the global admin. He's the one that created the document, but he can't share it. Okay. I like this address. Let me just copy it. So let's see what the behavior is for. I hope it can share. What permission did I give him again? I think I gave him edits. So I clicked on share here. So let's see. Okay, I think I have it there. So I've given him no reply is after verification. Yes, continue. Okay, so you can see no, there is no problem. This Granny does not have access to administer the entire site, but he's in a group, okay, that allows him to share externally. So you can see it's not about being a global admin or being a site admin. Okay, so something else now is not allowing Solomon to share. Okay, so you can see all of that. So that's I think I'm spending too much time on this. I hope we're learning, guys. I'm just being granular with the SharePoint sharing so that we can get this properly. Then you also have allow guests to share items they don't own. Okay, we're not. I don't have any guest account on this tenant, so but does the same thing. Okay, so if you check it, if you share a file with a guest, they will be able to share it with others. Who is a guest? Okay, a guest is someone that has been authenticated. Okay, a guest is someone. If I go to my active group, I click on guest users. Okay, if I have any user here, So I have somebody here as a guest. It means that this user here, okay, this user here, okay, I can share a file with this user and this will apply to that user. So who is a guest? A guest is a user that has been authenticated, okay, with an identity created for him or her. Like you can see, this is an identity for this user. Okay, so this is a guest. Okay, it's a guest. So this person can sign in to access this document, and it will be recorded against this username or this name as you have defined it. That this particular guest access or made change to that particular document. So that's a guest. Okay. So see something still on that, it says guest access to a site or OneDrive will expire automatically after this many days. I do I have a guest I can quickly okay. But basically the same thing. Okay. Let's see if we're able to cover the other part. I can quickly come back to demonstrate that. But outside that, it's the same thing. Okay. So if you allow this, it means that guest will be able to. So this second one simply means that if you share a file to a guest, okay, you want them to have access to it until how long? If you say 1 day, that means it's going to be 24 hours. But unfortunately, it says enter a number between 30 and 740. So the minimum is 30 days. Okay. So it means that a user after 30 days, even though they had access, they will no longer have access to the site, to the file or whatever it is that was shared with them. Okay. Then you have also um, verification code. Okay. So these are just additional security configuration. So probably you want to make sure that maybe you are dealing with sensitive information. Maybe you don't know if the person has been sacked. Okay, so you want to verify after every 30 days. Okay, so you can do that. Then this does not really restrict anything. It just kind of show what the user is able to see. So it says when for file and folder links, what is selected by default when you are trying to share. You remember when I was trying to share a file earlier with a user, I was seeing only people within the organization selected for me already. That's because of the setting here. If I set it to anyone and I save, whenever I share a file, then I'm going to see automatically to be set to anyone. Okay. I'm not seeing that for this side. Most likely, this side does not allow anyone. Okay. Which I'm going to show us that as well. Okay. But anyone with the link sets that as default. Okay. Then you have choose the permission that is selected by default. Okay. Remember when I shared this file, I had to go to settings to change it to from view to edit. Okay. How to change this? This guy doesn't have edit permission again. I've spoiled my environment. Okay, so but I have to change this from um view to edit. Okay, that's because of that these settings. Okay, so you want to set default. So when somebody just clicks on share and decides to just share without going to the settings here, it will automatically give them view access. Okay, that is what this is doing. But you want them to automatically have edit every time, and this is what you need to set. Then choose expiration and permissions option for anyone. Okay, I think I know why the edit is not there, because on this document library I said require checkout before you can edit. So obviously I shouldn't be able to share with edit permission because the document requires it to be checked out. Okay, requires to be checked out, right? before it can now but it can now be edited. Okay, so but we are into refresh also, it's still not showing. So I think that's why that is not showing for us. Then lastly is this option to choose expiration and permission option for anyone. So if whenever I use anyone with the link on your entire site, whether OneDrive or whenever I use anyone with the link, this link should expire after how long? Okay. After in days. So you are then just trying to protect maybe your user environment. That's once a file is shared with anyone, make sure after 7 days that person loses access to the file, so it expires. Okay, so you have the option to do that. Then this list can give this permission, so you can set view and edit or just view. Okay, it's talking about the anyone with the link. For folders, only to view, or they can view and upload, or they can view and edit. So you can see all of this is they all affect. Okay. Is there another browser I can use to demonstrate anyone with the link? Okay, but basically the same thing that I've said. If we have time, we can come back to that. Let's not spend much time here so that we miss out on the other interesting things we still have to cover. Okay, then you have other settings. Show owners the name of people who view their files in OneDrive and all of that as well. Okay, so I'll just set this back to, I think, so it doesn't affect what I'm going to do next. Yeah, let's leave it at anyone. Have I saved this? So actually, this shouldn't be here again. Okay, so let's save. Okay, so every setting that we do here affects the entire tenants. Okay, basically SharePoint, OneDrive. Okay, SharePoint, OneDrive. Now, if you set this to anyone, okay, and SharePoint, of course. So another thing that OneDrive cannot go beyond SharePoint. Okay, if SharePoint is in only, this cannot go up. If you like, look for hammer or whatever, drag it, it's not going to move. It can only move as far as your SharePoint can move. Simply because SharePoint hosts your OneDrive. Okay, that's just the simple reason why it's so. So let's just pull everything up so that we can okay, so this guy is still checked. No, I don't want anything checked again, so that because the next thing we want to do, I don't want it to be blocking my sharing any longer. So this guy should be able to share now. Let's have my document back and functional. Where's my edit? Okay. So now, what I want us to look at is another sharing aside the sites. So what we did here is at the tenant level. Now, for specific sites, of course, the permission on the site is dependent on what is here. What do I mean? If the setting here is only people in your organization, that means the site itself cannot go beyond only people in your organization, which is why I put it here, okay, so that you can play around the other options. So if I go to my active site and I go to my deep dive and I go to settings, okay, I can see external file sharing, and I have the option to choose anyone, new and existing guests, only people in your organization. So even though on the site level it's set to anyone, I can limit this specific site to only people in the organization. Okay, I don't need to demonstrate it, but just the way we are seeing it, that's how it's going to apply, so that we can save our time. Okay. So so that's that. So I'm just showing us the various configurations that you have. Then if you go back to your Microsoft 365 admin and you go to settings, you go to org settings, okay, and then go to, I think, SharePoint and Microsoft 365 group. We're going to see two settings there. So I click on SharePoint from here, okay. Okay, let's refresh. Did I make any changes here? I think it's the network. Please confirm you can hear me.
Yes, I can
Am I
hear you.
audible?
Very audible.
Thank you. Thank you. But I'm the only one here. Okay. Let's refresh this. Okay. Service issues. So, but basically, what I'm trying to show us here is that the setting that we did here, where you go to policies, sharing, and all of that, you also have that option here, okay? And the option here is dependent on what has been configured here, okay? So basically, everything in other place or other places that you can configure sharing cannot go beyond what is here. So that means this guy is the highest. So if you want to troubleshoot issues, you first come here and make sure that the setting is right before you now start checking other places. Okay, but I don't know. This is strange. Then you have the second, which is the where is the 365 group. Where are you? Okay, let's hope this opens as well. Okay, so you have the Microsoft 365 group sharing as well. Let group owners add by organization. Let group owners let guests access members access group content. Okay, so you have that option for the Microsoft 365 group as well. Then one thing I want to show us again, I don't know if that configuration is going to show here, but let's see. For OneDrive, so if I click on this user's account and I go to my admin portal is not responding, and I go to OneDrive, okay, I can click on manage external sharing for Alex OneDrive. Maybe Alex did not take me for lunch, and I say, okay, let me see how you're going to share with external users. So I'm the admin. So I come to Alex OneDrive and I come to manage external sharing. Okay. It says let people outside organization access your site. I say, okay. And I do like bam, and I save. So what does it mean? All the persons that Alex have shared the file with, they will now start emailing Alex. I can't access the file. I can't access the file. Unless we come to him and say, okay, let's discuss this over lunch. So the lunch he didn't take me for them. We'll go for the lunch, and then I say, okay, I'll check it, and then you just call me and just pick it, and everything will start working again. Then below that it has one of these. You have to choose one of these. Okay, that's how it has a toggle. So it's allow sharing to authenticated guests. Okay, which we are invited. That is, we'll still remember what guests are. Allow sharing with anonymous guests, link and authenticated users. So that means both anonymous and guest users will work fine. Only allow sharing with existing guest users. Okay, so that means only those who are existing, not new or anyone. Okay, so I don't want to demonstrate it because of our time as well. But basically, maybe I should just show that for where is Grady? I'll just show it for Grady only. Okay. So let's go to Grady OneDrive. I have 4 minutes to move on from this sharing and look at something else. So if I go to this and I just and check that and save. So let's go to his OneDrive and let's see what we have. So this is Grady's OneDrive. My files doesn't have any file. Let's create one for him. That refresh. Did I block his? We have done something with my tenant. Guy, don't hear. Oh, let's see. Okay, I've done something, but I can't know what I did now. So, but I'm trying to show us that if this user has a file in their OneDrive, okay, remember the setting is OneDrive, so it doesn't apply to this. This is a SharePoint file, and it doesn't even own the file. But let's see if I can copy this to. Okay. So let's copy this to his OneDrive. When did I enable content approval? Hi. Okay. So, but basically, what will happen is that Grady will not be able to um share the file with external users because of these settings. Okay. Now, this setting it doesn't show. This setting doesn't show if this is set to anyone. Sorry, only people in your organization. So if this is here, you won't see this. This will be hidden. Of course, if it's only within the organization, one that's already set for everybody as only people in your organization. So then nobody should be able to do that here. But if it's set to anyone, you can now go to specific users and say, okay, you know access the site, okay? And that's this way you do that. Okay. I think I've been able to exhaust this session on sharing. So
Exactly. There's a
I
question
don't
for
think
you in
there's
the chat, sir.
I don't think there's any other thing on this again.
Hello, sir. There's a question for you on the chat.
How secure is that? Which option when you let people outside your organization access your site? The question is not clear. From managing external sharing. So when you let people outside your organization access your site, okay, you can give them a read, okay. However, this when you say outside the organization, the thing is that you can't access a SharePoint site outside an organization. Okay. The closest way you can do that is if you're a guest. And that's why I talked about the guest. A guest user is simply an external user that has an identity within another tenant. Where is the guest? Okay. So in that case, the guest user can access the site because he or she will be authenticated. Outside that, an external user cannot access a site. Okay, you cannot access a site. Okay. I don't know if that clear. If the question is not very clear, when you let people outside the organization access your site, okay. So I don't know if it's put clarity on your question because it's not very clear what you are asking. So we want to move on quickly. You know, our time is chasing us, so we have to keep running away from it. Okay. So we have demonstrated check-in, check-out, and co-authoring. We also demonstrated sharing restrictions. Okay. And if time permits, we look at the guest access and all of that, how it works, because it's still under sharing. But once we look at something interesting, which is custom permission levels, and secondly, inheritance. Okay, these two areas. Okay, we want to see it at work. Okay, so let's run into that right away. Allow sharing there. Yeah, it's fine. Yes, you can allow a user to share with anyone. That's anonymous. Okay, that is anyone with the link. There are specific files. Like if I want to share maybe this PowerPoint with you, with everyone, I'll just choose anyone with the link can view. Okay, so that everybody won't start editing it. Anyone with the link can view, right? And then you'll be able to access it. So it's fine. Okay. It's fine to do that. But if you don't want, then you can also restrict that as well. That's why you're the SharePoint admin, so you can break and fix based on whatever the organization requires. Okay, so I think we're done with the SharePoint admin in terms of permission. Now we want to work. Everything we're going to do now, it will be on the site itself. Okay, this is a private site. Okay, let me go and look for a public site so that I will be able to see what I want in terms of the configuration. I don't want any
Hello, sir. Please share
conflicts.
your screen, sir. Because I can't see your screen. I don't know if it's only me.
No,
Sorry,
it's not only
I
you.
thought.
Please, Mr. Yomi, kindly reshare your screen, please. Thank you. Okay, it's fine now.
Yes, I'm sharing it now. I will just create another site, okay? Because if I'm gonna open another site, we don't scatter ground for there as well. So I don't want it to affect what we want to do, so that I will not start getting different results. So let's call it deeper dive. The site admin is gonna be Solomon, okay? Who is our admin? Let's leave that. Let's create the site. Okay, so we have the site deeper dive. So let's open it. So we assume this is a fresh site. So that means no configuration has been done on it. So everything should work as it should. I don't want to start troubleshooting here. So two areas we want to look at is breaking inheritance. And the second area is creating custom permission levels. And we're going to connect everything together. I have some users that I have signed in, which we're going to use to demonstrate. We have a user here. We have another user here. So we're going to demonstrate both of them. So for clarity, let's look at what we want to achieve so that when we achieve it, it will flow. Okay. So we have a site. Okay, I hope I draw well this time. So we have a site here. This is our site. So this is our site, okay? And this site has a document library. Let's call it D. It has a list. Let's call it L. It has another sub-site. Let's call that S. Okay? So we want to break this. We want to break it here. Okay? We want this. So for now, we don't have a sub-site on that site. We're going to create one. We want this site to have a unique permission such that Grady shouldn't have access. Okay. The only person that will have access to this site is Atinuke that we have created. So we have a user called Atinuke. She will have access to this site. So both, then we're going to share the site. Okay, I think I forgot to do that. I'll do that now, just to demonstrate one permission sharing as well before we go. So okay, so Atinuke will have access to this site. Grady will not have access to this site, this subsite, but he will have access to the document library. Okay, that we have here. Then when we have another document library, okay, another one, Atinuke will have access to the document library. Grady will not have access to the document library. Okay. Then both of them will have access to this list. Okay. I don't know if I'm following. So please take note of the scenario. So this yellow line is only for Atinuke, which is a user. The black, okay, the black is only for Grady. So maybe this grade is a temporary or an intense staff. So we want to limit what it can do. Okay, so even though Grady has access to this document library, even though Grady has access to this document library, how can I make this thing bigger now? I'm drawing, I have space. So let me start afresh. Okay, let's draw this so that it's very big. So this is our site. What did I pick? Okay, this is our site. Okay. And within our site, we have the document library. I should have even used this other one. So we have sub-site. Excuse me. So we have sub-site document library list. Okay. So we want Atinuke to have access to this and a new document library that we're going to create. Okay. How can I make this thing tick? I've forgotten. Okay, so I think I should use this other one. Where is it? No, where is it? I'm not seeing it here. Okay, this is it. This is it. Okay, so that we can see it much clearer. Because if I'm straining my eyes here, I wonder what you guys are seeing on your end. Okay, so this one here is only for a user called Olajumoke or Atinuke. That's the yellow line. So what it means is that we are going to break inheritance here and break inheritance here. But this one will still flow. Okay. You still flow to the list from the top of the site collection. You still flow to the document library and the list. So this is inheritance we are trying to demonstrate. Secondly is the permission level. We want even though Atinuke has access to this document library, we want her to be able to edit but not delete. But Grady can edit. Okay. So Grady here can edit. He can also edit here. But Atinuke cannot edit. So she can only she can edit. She can edit, but not delete anything. Okay. So with that, we're going to demonstrate inheritance and permission levels. And we're done. Wait, is this time correct? I never almost
Yeah, the
I've
time
not
is
even
correct, boss.
started. Eh?
It's correct though.
And
Maybe
I've been skipping some of this.
we'll do part.
This is the interesting part, guys. So, but since I've drawn this diagram, it's going to be very easy. By the time I start to scatter the whole thing, okay, it's going to be very easy. Just follow this diagram, okay. So I will explain it one more time. This is my site collection, okay. Okay, this is my site collection. I want Grady to be able to access this document library and this list. I also want Atinuke to be able to access the document library and this list. But Grady cannot even see this site or should not see this site and this document library. But Atinuke will see everything. Okay. Atinuke will see everything. Maybe because she's the boss. So she can see everything. Grady is an intern, so he cannot see the site, he cannot see the site. So secondly, Atinuke should not be able to delete something here and here, even though she can access it, but Grady can delete. Okay. So that's what we want to do. So where do we do it? We have created a virgin site, which is called Deeper Dive. Very innocent. So we go to, let's start by creating the sub site. Okay. So if I go to my new, where's my subsite? Let's go to site content. Okay. So subsites, I don't have any. So this is a new site. So I'll just go to my new and I'll click on subsites. So what's going to be the name of the site? The site name is going to be sleep. What is deeper dive? Okay. Let's call this deepest then. This is site. That means it's going to have its own document library, its own list, and every other thing as well. Okay. What's going to be the URL? I just copy this. So deeper dive / deepest. Let's remove the dive. Okay. Language, English, template. Yeah, the same thing from the group. Now, permissions. Permissions. It says user permissions. Use same permissions as parent. What that means is that if I choose this, what that means is that even this guy that is creating this site, by the time he's done, he will not be able to access it. That's what we're going to achieve. Solomon Grande. In fact, he may not even see it. So, Solomon, use unique permission. Okay. Means that don't inherit permission from from the deeper dive sites. Let this site have its own permission different, okay, from the site. So I think before I create this, I've not added my users. So I think I should hold on to this. Let me go to members, site members, and let's add Atinuke and because I want both of them to have access to this site. Okay. But I'm not going to add Atinuke here because if you add her as a member, I won't be able to set up that custom permission that I want. But Grady will be added. Okay. That's the only user I'm adding here. Okay. So I added Grady to the site. Okay. The site member. So that means Grady should be able to see everything here, access everything. Okay. As a member. Okay. Then Atinuke is not a member. Okay. But we're going to bring her in somewhere, which is what we're driving at. Okay. So I think I've explained this already. Okay. So use unique permission. Display this site on the quick launch of the parent site. Of course, no, I shouldn't have that. Display this site on the top link bar on the parent site. That's fine. Use the top link bar from the parent site. No. So let's click on create. Okay. So use existing group. Of course, I don't have any group I've created. So let it create its own new group. You can see the visitors, members, and owner. Okay, these are the three major listings. Okay. So I just click on OK. Okay. So this is my deepest subsite. Okay, this is my deepest subsite. And if I copy this and paste I want to test this. This is a Grady. It says access denied. You need permission to access this site. Okay, so Grady does not have access to deepest, but it should have access to come on. Sorry. Should have access to the deeper dive because he's a member. And so you can see he's a member. He has access to the deeper dive, but not to the deepest because when we created this site, we said have a unique permission. So who should have access to it? Let's bring in Atinuke. So we just go to the what is it called now? The site permission and just add Atinuke directly. So we can bring her this site. She's gonna have everything on this side, so that's fine. So let's just add her as a member. So we can see Solomon there already because he was the one that created it. So let's just add her. Where is it? Add users. So okay. So let's see my insurance. Let's share it with her. Okay, so we have in the deepest site, these are the users that have access to it or they are members of it. Okay. This guy, we should know. Where do I put this guy now? Let's put it here. Okay, so what I've just demonstrated is inheritance. Okay, so you can see that this is Grady. He doesn't have access to the deepest dive site. Okay, so he has access to the every other thing. Okay, now we want to create a document library again. Okay, so the document library will be inside the deeper dive, not in the deepest. Okay, so let's go to deeper dive, and then let's go to site content. Okay, site content. My network is not as fast today. So document library blank. Let's call this Chloe. How do you spell Chloe? Okay. And let's say create. Okay, we ask it to show in the site navigation. So that's fine. Then now this by creating this document library, okay, is under this is document library here. This one is under this site. Okay, it is there, but this is not there. And this is also there. So we have broken permission for this. So we want to do the same thing for this. So you can see for sites, when you are creating it, you can break. But for document library, you might need to go to what is it called? Library settings, more library settings. Okay. We need to go to the permissions for this document library. Okay. and then you click on the stop inheriting permissions. At the moment, if I refresh, you will see that Grady has access. And we don't want Grady to have access to this document library. But he has access now. We don't want it. Okay, so I'll say stop inheritance. To tell me that it's going to create unique permission. I say okay. Okay. So now I've this library has a unique permission, but look at the group deeper dive, not deepest. All right. So it means that this guy is still a member of deeper dive. So you can see he still has access. Okay. So even though I've broken inheritance, I need to delete what it came with. So I'll remove where is it? Where is it? Remove now. Okay. So by removing this now, it means that this user no longer has permission. So if I refresh this, you have issues. Sorry, you don't have access. So you can see. Okay, so you no longer have access to that library. Okay. Even though he still has access to the site. And you can also see that the library has also what's it called? It has also disappeared here. Okay. So we can now grant artists. So let's look at the permission we're giving an edit. Okay. Okay. So all this ping is a notification to Chloe. I say to Chloe to Atinuke that she has, so you can see that she has access to the site. So if I click on deeper dive, okay, it says sorry you don't have access. Okay. Remember, we didn't add Atinuke to the Atinuke is not a member of the site. Okay, but she's that has been given direct access to a library in the site, but she's not a member. Then secondly, she also has access to the sub-site, deepest, but not the site that is hosting the sub-site. Okay, so this is SharePoint and inheritance. Okay, then the last part now we want to do is this. We have done this. We have done this. The last part now is this one. Okay, custom permission. Custom permission. Okay, this time just run like say this. So now we want to do custom permission for the document library. Okay, for the document library. So let's go to the document library to see how we can achieve that. The document library is for the deeper dive sites. Okay. So okay, yeah, this is it. So let's click on it. And let's go to document library. What are we going to do? Custom. So let's go back to our permissions page. So I'll go to library settings again. Now I'm on the root site. Okay. Now I'm on the root site. Okay. So before that, let me give Atinuke site visitor. Okay, so that I can navigate easily. So that will give her like granular from the top. Okay, so she'll be able to read from the top. Okay, but of course, if she tries to access some other site, it may not work for her. Okay, so I've given her a site visitor. Okay, so at the moment now, she should be able to go to the site. Okay, because she's now a visitor, so she has read. Let's see. Okay, so it's opening now. So she has read. Okay, she has read. Okay, this in document library. There's no option to upload. Okay, like this user. What is that? It's Grady. Grady can upload an add file because he has edits, but Atinuke is a site visitor on the same site. Okay, so we want to, give her more permission on these documents, but limited. Okay, so we need to create something for her. That's what we want to do now. So let's go back to our admin. So we go to permission for this document library, and then we are going to create. Okay, we're going to create some permissions. So if I go to permission levels, okay, where is it? Yeah, I'm on the document library. Sorry, I need to go to the I need to do this from the site. I don't want to close this. What should I do? What should I do? Because this is this site is inheriting from the site, so I need to create from the site so it flows down. So let's go back to the site. Yeah, this guy does not have access to OneDrive. So my site. How do I go back to my site? Why is it this guys have changed this link? Okay. Okay, so the reason why I'm doing it from the site is because this document library inherits. Okay, it doesn't have its own unique permission, it inherits. Okay, maybe I should just do it for this Chloe. Okay, we know that Grandy does not have permission to Chloe. So we can give Grandy a permission that allows him to probably view. No, we want to create custom permission to edit but not delete. Okay, so we can do that. But let's continue on where we are. So let's go to site permissions, advanced permission settings. So this is where we can create our permission. So I'll just click on permission levels. Yeah, I'm on the root site. So I want to create something that has to do with edit but not delete. So I'll just click on this. You can actually add a new permission level, but it's good to just use something that is closer to what you want to do, and then you just copy it. Okay, so this will be edit but not delete. Our time is up, so but this after this we'll take our Q&A. So drop your question. So edit but not delete. So anything that has to do with delete, I will uncheck it. Delete item, delete version. I'll just anything that has to do with delete, I'll uncheck it. I think that's all. I hope I've captured everything. Okay. This user will be able to create new document, but they can't edit. Sorry, they can't delete anything. So let's create it. Okay. Now we have a permission level. So what have we been doing so far? We have been assigning SharePoint groups. Okay, like we gave Atinuke a site visitor, that's a group. We give the other person a site member, that's a group. What we want to do now, we want to assign a permission level to a user directly. And not just a permission level, we want to assign a custom permission level, like the one we just created now. Okay. A custom permission level allows to edit, but not delete anything. Okay. Submit. Okay, so where do we apply it? So let's go to the document library. That's where we want to apply it. Let's go to settings, library settings. Too many links. Maybe I should have just left that page open. So I'll go to permissions. I think I left it open here already. Okay, just refresh it. I should have my permission listed here. Okay, so I can now create a group. Okay, I can now create a group. Okay, and this group, I can now give it a particular permission level. Okay, so you can see that a group is assigned a permission level. I'm not going to do this, but I'm just showing us. Okay, I've been assigning users to group, but we want to directly assign a user to a permission level instead of a group name. Okay, so if I go back to my document library, okay, where is my where's my user? What's happening? Okay, I think I need to create the group so that I'll have it listed here. But I can just use this. I should need to use this instead. Am I sharing? Yeah. So let's use this. Okay, so let's add this user. Okay, then let's go to show option. Then, so instead of giving this user edit permission, we should to add, where is my, what's happening? I'm on the site or on the list. Let me just close all this. I'm on the documents. Let's just edit, allow, let's call it prevent deleting on deep dive. Okay. Okay, group owner. Yeah, that's fine. Who can view the membership? Okay. Who member governors? Allow requests to join. No. Auto accept. No. Okay. Edit but not delete. Let's create it. Okay. So we have that. So let's just refresh our document library. Okay. So our document library, because our document library is inheriting, so anything that we do in the site, it flows down. So we can just go straight. If we do this here, it's going to give Atinuke access to the, it's going to allow Atinuke to edit the site. Okay, but not delete the site. But we want that to happen in the document library. So that's why we are doing it here and not adding her here. So I'll click here. And then I'll just add her. Sorry. Okay, yeah, I'm already there. Just share. Okay. So we have Atinuke. So let's refresh this. You should see the edit option showing now. But you should be able to create now. Okay, so you can see. So Atinuke can now add new. But if she makes a mistake, maybe once you type make and when to do this, she cannot say, let me quickly delete. Where is delete? Where is delete? Oh, where is delete? Where is delete? No delete. So she will have to reach out to this guy, Grady, and say, please help me out. Grady should have delete so you can see. So we are done. We are done. Okay. We have been able to achieve. So how was that? I hope it was interesting. So that this is the power of SharePoint at work. So let's take questions. We are done. If there are no questions, then we just end the class.
Yeah, thank you
If you
very
have
much.
questions, please go ahead.
Thank you very much for your time. Like, it's very insightful. Anytime with you, it's always very, very insightful. Like, my guys in the house, can we just give a reaction to Mr. Yomi to appreciate him? Like, it has been wonderful. It has been wonderful. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir. So, please, you push should bombard Mr. Yomi with questions. And you push should ask him questions. He's ready to answer you. So we are going to share the recording. I know I know we are going to share the recording. Sure, we'll share it. Share it. Mr. Yomi, thank you very much. I want to appreciate you on behalf of the community. We really appreciate you for your time. Thank you very much. It has been a very insightful section. Thank you very much. So, do you have any last words for our guys? Like, wish them happy weekend. You are talking on mute, boss.
Sorry. So what I would like to say is let's put our eyes out for subsequent sessions. Let's make sure that we attend or consume all the sessions. Because I strongly believe that at the end of the entire series, you're going to be a guru with SharePoint. Okay, when you see issues, you just smile. Okay, because you know where this is coming from. Okay, like if you sat down throughout the session in this lesson, like for today, for instance, sincerely, if you go and face any sharing issues or sharing scenario, you just be remembering all that we did today, and you're like, you can do it like this, you can do it like this. So thank you everyone for your time, and you have a lovely weekend.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Yomi. Thank you, everyone. Bye for now.
Yeah, bye.